I pulled a knife on a kid in the 6th grade for the first time. You know, like that was the neighborhood I was in. Like these two kids, you know, tried to beat me up, and I'm like, let's do it. What do we got? You know, and it was like, that's not a normal thing.
Yeah.
You know, I was in foster care when I was 9 years old. You know, for my own mom beating the shit out of me. You know, so like I lived this life that was so different from all of my peers, and I'm like, I think I'm a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, and so then what happened is because I was so different, everybody always treated me as different. And so I'm like, all right, fuck y'all. You don't want to hang out with me. I'm going to find the people that do want to hang out with me. You know, and so I just lived a very like lonely life. But what it basically taught me how to be this sort of chameleon-like character where I could adapt to any situation, any surrounding, to where, you know, I learned a lot about adapting with the streets, with being able to be street smart, you know, to where if I get myself in a situation, how am I going to get out? You know, I remember like my first fight I ever got into, I was in the 7th grade, and my mom, she was she used to watch those like Forensic Files or whatever. I don't know what they were back in those days, but you know, those murder mysteries.
Yeah,
you know?
like what is it?
Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah,
I think.
it's on Lifetime. You see them on Lifetime.
Yeah. So it's like all this. Well, anyway, so like what happened was this kid and this family moved up right up the road from us.
Okay.
And his dad was currently on trial for a double murder. And his dad was an ex-sheriff who had recently turned to drugs, methamphetamines, and then found out that his 16-year-old daughter had been held on this compound against her will, being raped by this old couple. And so when the dad finds out, he went to the compound with a Tech 9. I'm not even kidding. This is in the news. Ken Aerosmith was the guy's name. And he went in and he shot Ronald and Luella Bingham 21 times and 19 times in the back.
Holy
and they
shit.
arrested him because he was like, you know, because they had molested his daughter, and he knew that the courts were never going to give any justice, the type of justice they deserved in his eyes. So his son moved up the road from us, and this is, you know, national news. Like Phil Donahue, the daughter who had been raped, was on Phil Donahue. And then, you know, Charlie, the kid, his son, was right up the road just playing, you know, magic cards. And so, like, you know, my mom, she never really spent a lot of time with me. She was like, you know, I was the kid that, like, she didn't want.
Yeah.
You know, she wanted my other brothers, but didn't want me. So I was always, like, left alone. So, but Charles, he was my age.
Yeah.
And he would always come over. She would, oh, Charles, come on over, play magic with me, you know? So, you know, he'd be playing the magic cards. And like, if I had my shit together, but I was like, I was a mess, right? I'd been abused. I'd been, you know, so my shit wasn't together. So I was just extremely jealous. And I was like, I told Charles, like, dude, quit fucking around, quit hanging out at my house. Like, you know, my mom, I know she don't want to hang out with me, but she ain't going to fucking hang out with you either. So one day, we went behind, I saw him walking, and this kid, Case, he was in 8th grade, but he was a big dude.
Yeah.
And he goes, Brett, you're going to fight him today. And I said, really? You know, I'd never been in a fight.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you're going to fight him. And so the store was called Mighty Mart. And it had little Mighty Mouse as the character. So we went behind the store. And I just wanted to beat him up. I wanted to fight, you know. But, you know, as a kid who was beat by his own mom, I had no confidence in being able to fight a dude. You know, my mom's beating the shit out of me. You know, there's no way I'm going to be able to defend myself. But I had Case there to sort of be the buffer. If anything did go too out of control, he'd be there to save me. So Charles had his 2 friends with him. And Case is like, hey, Charles, stop. You guys all stop. Brett's got to talk to you. And so I just went up to Charles, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to fight. You know, I just walked up, and I punched him in the face, and we just were fighting. And, like, apparently I just had the upper hand the whole time. Charles didn't even have a chance. And I saw blood everywhere. And I'm like, I'm getting scared, but I don't want to stop punching because I don't want him to hit me at all.
Yeah.
And then finally his friends, there was a pallet nearby, and they ripped the pallet off, and they started swinging the board.
The board at you?
And there was a board with a nail in it.
Holy
and because apparently I was just beating Charles so bad that there was just blood everywhere. And Case told the guy, stop. And then he told me, he pulls me off of Charles. He's like, it's over. It's over. And I just remember watching Charles like get up, brushing himself off the gravel, and he was just walking with his friends, you know, and I was scared because, you know, I didn't know how to stop.
Yeah.
But I felt like it didn't feel good. It felt good in the sense that I knew he wasn't going to come around anymore.
Yeah.
But like, as I thought about it more, I was like, fuck, man, his dad's in prison. Like his dad's going to go to prison. And then, you know, here he is like trying to make his way. Like he wasn't deliberately trying to fuck around, you know, like do anything like, and I wasn't mature enough at that time to see that and to recognize that. And I had my own issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always felt bad about that, but you know, but that was how I grew up. And so those were the experiences that sort of molded me to be like, all right, when shit gets rough, this is what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to go in and, you know, throw the fists.
Mm-hmm.
But also, let's try to figure out a way to not fight if we have to. And that didn't come until later. That didn't come until after high school. After you know, throughout high school, that was pretty much how you handled every situation.
Yeah.
Being the new kid and all that.
Do you ever wonder like his whereabouts to this day?
Man, I just hope he's okay. That's, you know, like I guess now that we're sort of addressing it, I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
We're from the same neighborhood, and you know, so like I made the best out of all of my situations, and I was able to make something of myself, and I hope he did. But you know, the neighborhood I grew up in, like these were the kids you gave up on. Like I remember like one time getting out of foster care, they tried to put me in the Big Brothers program, Big Brothers Big Sisters, because they said, Brett, you have no male role models in your life, you need one. And I think I was a handful because they tried to put me into it, and every guy was like, no.
Took a look at you. Nah.
You can have him. I think he needs to get hit more. You know, and so it was just there was a lot of, and so again, when I listened to rap, all that hopelessness that Tupac would talk about, like I'm like, that's what the fuck I feel. And then it wasn't until Eminem came out that I'm like, finally someone of my color that's really talking about the same shit that I'm going through. But Tupac was the one that, like, there was that emotional connection with him, you know. With Eminem, I clearly related to him more. And I was just so happy when he came out. I was so proud to see someone just, like, that had been through the same shit lifestyle that I went through.
Yeah.
Be able to do what I just could never do. Like, that's what I wanted to do in life, was to be able to talk about these issues, be able to address these issues in a way that maybe could be more digested, because it's not easy. It's not easy to talk about being abused, and let alone by your own mom. You know, it's just shit that, like, even when I was on TV, I couldn't talk about that because it was just like, I don't think that people are ready for that. I don't think people are ready for men that are abused. Like, they just don't believe it. Like, just get over that shit, bitch.
I think it's more like, too, also this kind of the similar thing in that, almost in the same realm, is kind of like, you remember when Terry Crews was saying he got sexually molested?
Yeah.
Kind of like that, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
There's things like that happen, but yet I feel like it doesn't get brought up as much as it should, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like in that same realm, you know what I'm saying?
It is true, though. I mean, and it's like, you know, I'm guilty of it. I made fun of Terry Crews. I'm like, dude, look at you.
Yeah.
Like, strong arm a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Strong arm that motherfucker.
Yeah.
But if you feel like your career could be derailed just by saying something, that's the whole thing with this Me Too movement, was that women were too afraid to speak out.
Yeah.
But there is certainly a double standard. Certainly is. And that's where I'm in that trap fuck it. You know, I'm raising 2 little girls, that they're never ever going to have to go through the shit I went through. So I think if anything, at the end of the day, at least they're not going through it.
Yeah.
And that's all I can ask for, you know? So fuck a double standard. If we're helping women, at least that's a start.
Yeah.
And then once we help the women, then maybe someday we'll be ready for men. Maybe someday there will be a day where we can be like, you know what? We haven't been talking about men, but now we have this sector of society that is sort of not performing.
Yeah.
And maybe they start to look into that more. And maybe it's a woman that comes in and finds that guy that is being hurt and is, you know, has that story.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it's true. There's always a beginning for something, and then it goes on to something else. And that's why I brought that up, the whole Terry Crews situation, because it was kind of like almost the same thing.
I just think they were afraid of men hijacking the movement, you know? Like,
yeah.
oh, shit, fucking tamper that out.
Stop that fire.
This is a woman-only club.
Yeah.
Only women get hurt. You know?
Yeah, so it's crazy, man. It's crazy to really kind of dive into that and, you know, see just the outcome, to see what would happen, you know, like if that's part of the ripple effect, you know, if we're going to get to that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.